Welcome to Empower You Crown Up, where we believe in empowering minds to live empowered lives. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. And without further ado, I will bring her to the stage, front center. Hey, Mama Bertha, how are you doing today?
I am better than amazing.
I love that. Better than amazing. Ain't no
Yes.
better way to be than to be better than amazing.
Yes.
Love it. Well, tell us about you and what it is that you do and just who you are.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted to be here with you. You've been such inspiration to me, and I just commend you for all the things that you are doing. And I'm so proud of you. I
Thank you.
am Evangelist Bertha Winston. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a entrepreneur, I'm an author, international author. I'm I'm just me. I help people who are retiring or planning on retiring um, eliminate debt, repair their credit, and become debt free.
Yeah.
And I'm so passionate about that because I have mastered that also. And I started writing 3 years ago, and I was in a collaboration book called Unshakable Faith, which is
Yeah.
an awesome book to read. And this
Okay.
book is about redirecting, redefining, and renew you. So now it was a first time bestseller. Then after that, I authored my own book, Love Like You've Never Been Hurt, which is
Yeah.
about my life and a healing for a lot of people who have been through what I've been through. So
Mm.
at present, I am a 10-time author.
Yes.
I've also been international to Canada with my book. And in December, I'll be going to Ghana with you with our book,
Yes.
Voices of Change. So the ride has been very, very empowering. God has really elevated me from the first time when I wrote my book. And from then, it's just been one episode after the other. It's been, I say, this is my time to shine. God has really blessed me for the last 2 years in my writing. And now I'm getting ready to write that financial book, which I'm so passionate about.
Yes.
I'm in the process of doing that now. And I'm excited about that because that's been my heart. I wanted to do that book with a workbook. And it's about to come to fruition.
Yes. And that's why our words have so much power. Life and death lies in the power of the tongue.
Yes, it does.
And I mean, you just saying that, like you wanted to do it, and now here it's getting ready to come about. Your book on finances with your
Yes,
workbook.
yes, yes,
And you're going to help
yes,
change so many lives.
yes, yes, yes. And that's what it's about. All of us have a story, and a lot of us, which I was too, very reluctant of putting a story in a book because of what people are going to say, what people are going to think.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have some rebuttals, you're going to have some enemies, but you just
Yes.
got to do it. You're going to have some
Yes.
enemies, but you're going to help so many other people. So the people that you help is going to outweigh the haters, you know. So if
Come
God put
on.
it in you to do it, do it
Do it.
because it's a reason that He wanted me to do that. And I know it's going to heal some people, and heal myself, because we sit
Yes.
on things and we keep it, for years, like I did. God said it's time for it to be revealed. It's time for you to tell the story. And I was
Yeah.
very, very reluctant about it. But then when God really gave me the unction, I said, okay, I'm doing it. What's the heck? And I did. And I'm so glad I did. And when you really follow what God gives you to do, He's going to bless it. And He has blessed since I wrote that book, I mean, the last 2 years, my life has been on a journey. I've been on more platforms. I've been, to Canada. I've been to Dubai. Here I go to Ghana. I've been to Florida. I've been to Atlanta. I mean, and
Yeah.
I've been just nonstop. I mean, I was like, God, wow, you going faster than me. Well, hold up. I got to
And your
catch up with
books
you.
will open up so many doors
He
for you. Your
opened up
books
so
do.
many doors.
Yeah.
So let me be the first to tell you, if God tell you to write that book, write it.
Do it.
He has a
Right.
purpose for it. He really
Hmm.
does.
Yeah, you made me think about myself. Life has changed so much since I wrote my first book.
Oh
Um,
yes, my most
Stop the drama,
definitely.
stop comparing and focus on you because the title
Yes.
is all about the title, right? Like your book,
Yes.
Love Like It's Never Heard Before.
And
And
we've all been hurt. I mean,
right,
deeply.
right.
Deeply, you
But you
know?
have two choices. Some people choose to be bitter and to be
Yes.
angry, take it out on people. And
Yes.
some people, you know what, I'm gonna take what has happened to me and
Yes.
channel it into something positive.
Exactly. And
And is
that's what
that
you
what
got to
your book
do.
was about? Like channeling
Yes.
it into something positive so you
Yes.
can lead by example. Because I also heard you say with finances, you're leading by example. So let's get
Yes.
into that. So
Most
love like you've
definitely.
never been hurt before. What made you like write that book? Like I love that title because everybody, like you said, everybody's been hurt, but it's what we
Yes.
do with it.
Yeah. I wrote that book because it's really about my life from what I can remember from the time I would say 5 years old.
Okay.
And my foster mother died when I was five. And then I could remember my foster father and my brother having to take care of me, but then my foster father mother stepped in when his wife passed and helped, take care of me. And then when she passed, I had to encounter going and living with the oldest sister of the family. Um, so I moved from my foster father's home to my foster sister's home, and she was married and had kids, and that's when my life went like a whole chaotic life, being abused, um, you know, um, taking care of her kids and doing things, with her and her family. But she was abusive to me and very abusive to the fact that she got locked up for child abuse. That's how bad it
Mm,
was. I was a very lonely young lady. You know, this was probably I was probably between 8 and 10. I would go to school. I was very lonely. I was very sad um, because I didn't really have anything to be happy about. When I left
right.
school, I was going back home to an abusive situation.
Abuse. Hmm.
Yes, and I walked home from school. I would walk as slow as I can, so
Mm.
because I knew when
You
I
didn't want
got
to go
there, I didn't
home.
want to go. I didn't want to go. And that was trauma, you know, and when you expect someone to protect you and love you instead of abusing you, it just gives you a sour, bitter taste in your mouth and your life. And I didn't want to live. I was like, well, God, if this the life that you have for me, I don't even want to live because this
Mm,
is not a good life. And so that's what my book is about. And not only that, I was molested by the foster brother, and that was not a good thing either. And
right.
you're threatened. Well, if you tell anybody, they're not going to believe you. And so you're threatened at a young age. You tell a child at a young age if not to do something, they're not going to do it, especially if you threaten them. So
Right.
I didn't tell anybody. And it went on for a while. So here I was in an abusive situation as well as being molested by the foster brother. So that was the life I was living. That was my life. And that wasn't really a good life. And so that's why I ended up writing the book, because I knew there are other people who've gone through the same thing and they're holding it and they won't tell it and they won't share it. And so God said it's time for you to share it.
Right.
And
And look
and
at how many
so,
people you're helping to break through because you deal with that and we take what happens in our childhood into our
mm-hmm,
adulthood. Like
mm-hmm.
mental health is
Yeah,
so heavy. And that's what women come to me and men from so many
yeah.
things from their
And I ain't know
childhood.
nothing about that.
Right,
You
right.
know,
You're right.
they wasn't doing that kind of stuff back then, you know. So yeah. And that just gave me an opportunity, and people were amazed. Here I am, 70 years old, writing a book of my life that nobody really knew about. I mean,
That's right.
they was
Because you
like,
smile and people see where you are right now,
yeah, and
but they
they
don't
were in
know your
awe.
story.
They were like, Bertha, as long as I've known you, I've never known you had gone through some. And they tell me, I picked that book up and started reading it, and I could not stop. And some told me I was in tears. And that's
Mm,
how I know it was ordained of God to do it, because
that's right.
those people were blessed. They didn't know what even my best friend didn't know. And she lives in Texas as well. She said I couldn't stop reading, and I was just crying and crying. And every time I pick that book up and read it, she said, all these years I've known you, I never knew that about you. I said, because I never talked about it.
Right. But then also you remind me, what's the purpose of us continuing to talk about it, right? Because when you do that, it's almost like I had a client, she told me, why journal? She was like, every time I journal, it makes me so mad. It's making me think about the situation again. And
Mm-hmm.
so for you, it sounds like, what's the purpose of us talking about something? We're not gonna have a solution. And so you
Right.
put in a book because you were led to, God told you to do that. And
Yes.
that is the
Yes.
transformation. People's
That is.
lives being changed.
Yes.
It really
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it has. I mean, I've sold so many of those books, and sometimes God put somebody in my heart. I just send them the book, you know.
Yes.
And I sent I sent this lady this book. She said, "Oh my God." She said, "This book came at the nick of time. I
Ooh.
really needed this." And then when I was still working, a young man was moving my furniture out to another office. And I
Mm,
said, "You know what? The Lord led me to give you this book to give to your wife." They
mm,
were out of town. They went out of town, and I think his wife was reading the book. He called me. He said, "Miss Winston, you just don't know
mm.
how you blessed my wife with this book." That book was in the nick of time for her. And
Wow.
I was like, just that. If it only touched two people, it was worth it,
That's
you
right.
know? And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk about it because it was my life. It's over. I've
Mm,
renewed myself. I have redirected. I've I'm not what I went through, and I'm
that's
not what I
right.
looked like. I mean, I
Mm.
went through a lot, but
And there's a song,
looking at my
Dion
life, you
Kipping.
would never know. Looking at me now, you would never imagine that I went through what I went through.
Yes. And that reminds me of this song by Dion Kipping, and that's I don't look like what I've been through.
That's right.
And that's how we all are. You're right. And we all have a story. And that reminds me
Yes.
of something that Les Brown said. Sometimes we're so big on trying to tell everybody our
Yeah.
story. This is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened. Da, da, da. Like you said, 80% of people they don't care because everybody has a story. And I was like,
Everybody have a
dang.
story, and and people like you all, in the BPC. Where do you get the energy? And at your age, people are not doing what you are doing. It's
Mm,
God. It's not.
that's
It's
right.
God. I mean, He gets all the glory because if even my husband, he said, I just don't see where you get. I mean, I'm up at night on the computer doing stuff, and I'm in this group, I'm in that
We got to
group.
get it done. That's
Yeah,
right.
so my husband said, "You really haven't retired." I said, "Because you haven't even stopped." I said, "No, not really. I'm just doing what I enjoy now. I mean, I
That's
love my job too. I enjoy my job." I said, "But now I'm doing it for me.
that's
You
right.
know, I'm not doing a 9 to 5 for someone else. What I
That's
do
right.
now, I'm doing it for me and my family for
That's right.
generations to come." You know,
And that
and
leads to that's why you're teaching people with debt free how to be debt free
exactly,
because you live that.
exactly. I'm
And
living my
that's what
life.
you do. Yes.
I'm really living my life, and I'm enjoying it. I don't have no regrets. You know,
Yes.
it's
So tell
just
us, what does that look like if someone is like, I want to work with Bertha? What does that look like? Whether it's working on becoming debt free, doing your workbook, or what does that look like for them to say, I'm working with Bertha?
it looks like if you're in debt up to your neck, if you have a low credit
Your neck.
score, like most of us are, you know,
Yeah.
we teach you strategies on how to eliminate that debt. If your credit score is like maybe in the 500 or 600, we teach you how to raise that credit score to a 750 plus by
Okay.
tools that we use to help you get there. I mean, we don't get in debt overnight, and you're not going to get out overnight. But with the strategies that I've used, I have cash flow over $300,000 of debt. I have raised my credit score to a 850. I mean a 750 plus. I have paid off
Okay.
over $100,000 in
Okay.
debt. You know, um, most of
Okay.
us don't have an emergency fund, which you need to have an emergency fund in case an emergency happens. And it's not if, it's just when. And we teach
Right.
investment. You need to invest in yourself. If we go to work,
Mhm.
I've used the 10-10-80 rule. I give God his 10%. I pay myself 10%. And the
Okay.
80% is for bills and things and whatever else I need to do. You need to pay yourself. If I
All
work
right.
for Uncle Sam, gonna take his money first. So why don't I pay
Mm.
myself? And we never think about
That's
that. That was a mind blower for me. Pay myself.
right.
So the way you could pay yourself is put your money where Uncle Sam can't, like a 401k, TSP, 401b, where you are the tax deferred, where Uncle Sam can't get it. He
Right.
won't get that money up front. It's already taken out before he get it because he gonna get his. So
Right.
those are the strategies, and we have tools and systems for you to do that. And it worked for me, and I know it'll work for you.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Yes.
Yes,
So how can
yes.
people connect with you? What does that look like? Like what website or how would they get in touch with you
So
if they need
I have a website, and then I also have a free book on how to get out of debt. And that free book is, you can go to www.retiredanddebtfree.com. There you will find 7 tips on how to be retired and debt free. And
started?
you could schedule a discovery session with me, and we'll talk about how to do that. So
All
that's how you
right.
can get in touch with me. And again, it's www.retiredanddebtfree.com. So you
All
go
right.
there and fill out your information, and I'll call and follow up with you and set up a discovery session.
Okay, cool. Now
Yeah.
tell us, because you know we're all about empowerment. What
Yes.
are some words of empowerment or a favorite scripture that you have that you would love to leave with our listeners and our audience today?
My favorite scripture is Jeremiah 29:11.
Mm.
For God knows the plan that He has for you, and He does. He had a plan for me way back then when I was going through all of my situation, and He has an expected end. He, this is my expected end right here, and that scripture
Yeah,
so much resonate with me because when people try to destroy you, God still have a plan for your life, and when
that's
He has
right.
a plan for your life, nothing can destroy it.
Nothing and
So,
nobody.
nothing and nobody. So when they was trying to destroy me, God said, "Okay, I see. I got a plan for her, and that plan is going to work for her. This is not her
That's,
end. I have an
that's
expected end for her." And I always tell people, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great.
to be
So
great.
wherever you are, if you have to want to get out of debt, you want to write that book, you guys got to get started. Just
That's
do it.
right. Mm.
Just do it.
Like
You know,
Nike say, just do it. Just do
just do it.
it.
You're going to be criticized, but hey, they criticized Jesus. They
That's
mocked him.
hey,
They killed him. So you
right.
ain't no better. And so when I think about what I've been through, I went through that for you.
That's
I
right.
went through that for someone else. It wasn't for me. It was for you. And it just took me a long time to get it to you.
That's okay. That's like, for the holiday time when you season the meat up and you put it in the
Yeah.
fridge and let it marinate.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
you
It
was
just
going
took, yeah, it
to
just took me.
marinate this,
It took that
right?
long for me to get it to you, but it's better late than never.
That's right. And do you know how many people they never do anything or they never take their action step? Because one thing I tell my clients all the time is if you don't stop and you keep putting one step in front of the other, eventually you'll reach your destination. And
Yeah,
that's all it is.
yeah,
Sitting down, accomplishing those goals. Just like if you want to be debt free, if it's up to your neck, it's hard to even imagine how can I be debt
yeah.
free.
I was
But
there. My
linking up
credit
with
cards
you,
were
they'll
my
get it.
emergency fund. I mean, I had so much debt I couldn't even see. But and you got to have a mindset. Okay,
That's
I
right.
do not want to be in debt the rest of my life,
That's
especially when
right.
you get ready to retire. You know, and that's when it hit me. I wanted to retire and I couldn't because I had too much debt. You know, paycheck to paycheck. You know, paycheck to Monday. Really, it wasn't even paycheck to paycheck. So you have to come to a decision. Is you plan to fail, you're going to fail to plan. You
That's
got to
right.
plan your retirement.
Yes.
If you want to get
Yes.
out of debt, you got to
Right.
start now. You just do.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for the guest on here because I mean it's so helpful, like that and dealing with yourself, where you are in life, dealing with your heart because out of your heart flows how you truly feel about
Yes,
anything.
the issues of life.
Mhm.
Yes,
So we got to
yes,
deal with that. Yeah, we've
we
all
do.
been
We
hurt, but we
do.
have to be able to deal with that to take the next step. But we also have to handle business because avoiding the debt is just going to keep
Yeah,
rising and rising.
yeah, yes,
So we got to
yes,
deal with it.
yeah. And I would say to you all, life is short. Live life on purpose
Yeah.
and do what you got to do. You know, go to my website, www.retiredanddebtfree.com, and connect with me. You won't regret it because
Yes.
if God could do it for 73-year-old, he could do it for you. And the
Yes.
sky's the limit. The sky
Yes.
is the limit.
I love
I just began.
it. That's okay. It's never too late to get
It's
started.
never too late. That's right.
Well,
As
thank
long
you
as you
so
got breath.
much.
Thank
And we'll
you. Thank
definitely
you. I'm
to
so
have you
proud of
back.
you. You're doing a
Thank you. I'm
great
proud
job
of
and
you.
don't
You
stop.
giving us you giving us goals to look forward to so we can accomplish those goals.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Well, y'all be blessed. And I'm so grateful. And thank you so much, Brittany, for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing you very, very soon.
Likewise.
All